Now that I have all the Chainsaw Man fans here, let's not talk about Chainsaw Man for a second, but instead let's talk about the actual best anime of 2022, which is Bocchi the Rock, obviously. Right, guys? Right, guys? I'm just kidding. You can like any anime you want. I don't really care. But before that, before we get into the actual content of this video, let's talk about a little bit of the context as to why this video is being made. So at first I wasn't planning on watching Bocchi the Rock at all because I thought it was a cheap K-On! Write-off, which at the time I honestly thought it was. I mean, they have like 4 girls as well. K-On! Has 4 girls. It's a music anime. K-On!'s a music anime, and it's also a slice of life comedy. K-On! Is also a slice of life comedy, and I don't know, the drummer has yellowish brown hair. The drummer of K-On! Also has yellowish brown hair, and yeah, I just thought it was like a K-On! Write-off, so I didn't plan on watching it. But something in me just snapped. Something in me just snapped. I didn't care if I was better than Kakarot. I didn't care anymore. But yeah, basically something in me just decided to watch it because as an average cute girl doing cute things enjoyer, some might call me an enthusiast, but as a cute girl doing cute things enjoyer, I am morally and legally obligated to watch every show that comes out that is within that genre. So here we are. And after watching it, I decided that that was probably one of the best experiences I've had with anime this year. Genuinely. It was probably one of the most surprising, but most pleasant, obviously, experiences this year. And I decided that I just have to talk about it online so a bunch of random people can know my opinion, because obviously my opinion matters, right, guys? But anyways, we can finally start talking about why Bocchi the Rock is the best anime of 2022, in my opinion, at least. So the first thing I just want to say is that Bocchi the Rock, compared to K-On!, I'm going to be making a lot of K-On! comparisons, so if you haven't watched K-On!, what are you doing? First of all, just watch K-On! K-On! Is honestly one of the best anime that I've ever watched in my time as an average anime fan. And if you also haven't watched Bocchi the Rock, then there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this video, so if you don't really care about spoilers and kind of just want to hear me talk about like a bunch of 15-year-old girls, then go ahead. But Bocchi the Rock, compared to K-On!, actually has a better story. Now hear me out. So the way I see K-On! Is a lot more scattered. It's a lot more slice of lifey, hence the genre. But Bocchi the Rock actually does seem to have a loosely connected story about these 4 girls doing band stuff, basically. And I'm not gonna lie, Bocchi the Rock is a little bit better at making a story about a band, or at least a story about music, whereas K-On! Is more like a story that just happens to have music that's incorporated into the story. And yeah, I just think Bocchi the Rock just seems to be a little bit more focused, a little bit more plot-driven, slightly plot-driven, but it is still a slice of life at heart. Although the plot itself isn't anything like grand or profound, I still think that that little bit of focus just made me enjoy it a little more, because I'm not gonna lie, K-On!, a lot of the time you're watching like one-off stories that don't actually have anything to do with each other until maybe like season 2. But I think what makes Bocchi the Rock that much slightly better than K-On! In that sense is that every episode sort of links on into each other. And yeah, that's just what I think about the story of Bocchi the Rock. Not to say that one is necessarily better than the other. I think both are good in their own respective rights, but I just think that in terms of story, Bocchi the Rock just seems to have it down a little better. Next, obviously, is the comedy aspect. Comedy is actually good in Bocchi the Rock. I would say it's significantly better than K-On!. The jokes actually are funny. I actually laughed out loud while watching Bocchi the Rock, which is quite rare considering I don't actually laugh out loud to anything. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And the way the comedy is presented in Bocchi the Rock is exponentially more creative than K-On! And doesn't just rely on like cute girls doing cute things quirk that a lot of these slice of life anime have going on. But then obviously that's not to say that all the jokes are funny in Bocchi the Rock. There is that aspect of the cute girl, haha, funny thing that a lot of these shows have. But I think there is more positive than negatives in the comedy aspect. And while there are jokes that hit and are actually really, really funny, there are some jokes that are just and yeah, stone face emoji.
Oh man, what the hell?
Next we have the animation. Maybe not so the animation, but the way it's being presented. And the reason I say that is because not everything's animated. There are literally just some scenes where it's just a video of real life. The animation's sort of like a blend of CGI, 2D animation, and real life shots, which is not something you see every day. I can't remember the last time something like this happened. Maybe like end of Ava, but some people might say it's lazy to put like real life clips into an anime which should be like animated. But if it's lazy, then why the hell does it work so goddamn well? I think this like combination of 2D CGI and real life, it's actually it works surprisingly well. The other thing that I really liked about the show is similar to K-On! The characters, because how can you have a show about cute girls doing cute things if the cute girls aren't good at all? The one thing I think that stands out in terms of characters is that although they are cute girls, I really don't feel comfortable saying the word cute girls when I know that they're like 15.
I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about being better than Kakarot.
So, yeah, just gonna throw that out there. Don't like kids. I know I've said this a lot on this channel, but I do not like kids. I'm a certified Onesan enjoyer. I think the one thing that the anime seems to portray them really well is in the aspect that they all seem to have things going on outside of the band. They all seem to have a life outside of the band, except for Bocchi, obviously, because, well, she's like... And the only thing she really does is play guitar at home, which I think relates to a lot of people sitting at home watching the anime, preferably in their room in the dark, you know, alone. And although some people might think it's a bad thing, I think that the fact that these characters are relatively simple, not in the sense that they're like one-dimensional or anything, but in the sense that they're not like traumatizing characters of like incredibly sad past. And I think that the thing I'm going for here is that the characters in Bocchi the Rock aren't necessarily the most like complex characters, but they're definitely the most relatable characters. Like sometimes you can watch a scene and just go, yeah, that is me for real. And that's another thing that I want to talk about. The relatability of the show. Holy shit, this show is so relatable. One way or another, there's definitely going to be one scene where you're going to go like, yeah, that's me. I am an anime girl in real life. Because we all have those awkward moments that we can't verbalize. And for some reason, this anime just happens to portray this idea very, very well. In my opinion, one of the things that makes Bocchi the Rock so well received with its audience is not necessarily the actual story, not necessarily the actual characters, nor is it the actual music, but rather its honesty in storytelling and the way the characters can portray that. What I mean by this is not necessarily in the way that the plot drives these characters to do anything overly ambitious or overly larger than life. It's not like there's some shonen protagonist that's trying to be the Hokage of the village or whatever. And I think this idea is perfectly demonstrated in episode 8, which is also my favorite episode. So up until this point, it's been teased in the anime that Nijika, who is the founder of Kesoku Bando, and is also a member of that band, and that's the band of the main characters, basically. It's been teased that Nijika's dream is something big. It's been hinted to be something like massive, something larger than life. Maybe like performing at like Budokan or something, or maybe having like a audience of 2 million. I don't know, but it's been hinted to be something big, something beyond that, you know. And at the end of the episode, we find out that Nijika's dream is simply to make the live house her sister owns popular. And that's because her sister sacrificed her own dream in order for Nijika to chase her own when their parents died. And that moment hits hard because it's until that point where you realize that everything that's built up until this moment makes sense. And that just goes to show how fucking interstellar the writing is in Bocchi the Rock. Finally, it wouldn't be right to talk about a music anime without talking about the actual music. Disclaimer alert, I am no music professional. I don't know shit about music theory. I don't know how well a piece of music is written, but I do know how well it sounds. And in my opinion, I think most songs in this anime do sound pretty damn good. And I do have most of the songs saved onto a playlist now. So I do listen to most songs even after the anime has aired, just because of how good the actual songs are. And I'd probably have to argue that one of the best guitar solos I've heard in any media can be found in the Culture Festival arc. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you just want to be refreshed of this legendary solo,
ソロが来る。せっかくの文化祭ライブが私の機材トラブルで台無しに。どうしようどうしようどうしようどうしようどうしよう。北さん、打ち合わせしてないのにアドリブ。みんなに見せてよ。本当は後藤さんはすごくかっこいいんだってところ。
あのギター何やってんだ。
よくわかんねえけどすげえ。この土壇場でボトルネック奏法とか普通やるか。
あれならチューニングずれてても関係ないもんね。
my favorite songs from Keisuke Bando are If I Could Be a Consolation, So What If, and Distortion. So there you have it. That's my opinion of Bocchi the Rock. Probably my anime of the year for 2022. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea because it is a cute girls doing cute things anime, and that's never everyone's cup of tea. But in my opinion, Bocchi the Rock is truly one of the best slice of life anime I've watched in a really, really long time. So go check it out if you haven't. And if you really liked it, let me know why you like it. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in another video.